for the drawer dividers. A few inches of curly maple or primary wood, and then the balance of it can be your secondary wood. I usually will glue up a full inch or 7/8 thick piece of stock, glue the two pieces together, and then resaw it into as many pieces as I can yield out of that, and then put it on the bench and use a hand plane to smooth the sides down. Fitting the drawer dividers is really pretty straightforward. Just cut the material to length and width, and then slide it in from the back. So I can take this one out. Slide it in from the back, and on these dados, when it gets to the end of the dado, just like we did with this top piece, take a marking gauge and scribe where it meets the case sides, and then measure out this notch and saw it off and use a chisel. I'll bring this up close so you can see it. Use a chisel to square it off, and your drawer divider is good to go. Now, all of the drawer dividers will get rounded profiles on the ends, and I'll take you through that in just a moment. But the first thing I want to do is walk through some of the joinery details. The case sides, we plowed the stop dados before, and the drawer dividers are notched as we just showed. Between the individual dividers, the vertical dividers, this is really nothing more than a V groove. So I'll bring this divider out. You slide right out. You can see the V in the end of this. And this case over, you can see this. You can see the V in the horizontal drawer dividers, both sides. So these are just slide in and out. When you do the layout for these, just like we did with the case sides, if you have two pieces that are going to share a common vertical divider, it's useful to place them on the bench front to front and do the layout all at once so you minimize your error, and then punch out the V. So we're going to do that. There's a divider that goes here and a divider that goes there. The next step is going to be to lay these 4 channels out, and then I'll walk through creating them. So much like we did for the case sides, I've clamped the 2 dividers face to face. This is the bottom edge of the top divider and the top edge of the bottom divider, and the horizontal dividers, and the 2 vertical dividers then will stand up on here. I've marked the center line of each of the dividers on the back side of these pieces. And I'm going to just take a square and make a scribe right down the center line. And it may sound kind of strange initially, but I think once you see the way I cut these, it'll make sense. I'd like to clamp this straight edge, but I'm just running out of clamp space. So just take an X-Acto, make a scribe all the way down. I'll make that fairly deep. And repeat the process. This particular section of drawer just has 3 drawers and 2 dividers. Okay, so that's the center. Next, grab a piece of divider material so that I know the width of it. These tend to vary because of how they get resawed and how much I hand plane them. So use the piece that you're going to actually cut for the vertical dividers, and make a scribe mark on each side of it. So you're centering this stock, this vertical stock, on the line that you just made, and then mark the outside edges. Now, grab the same straight edge and make 4 new sets of lines. Basically pairs around the center lines that you previously scribed. These don't have to be real deep. This X-Acto gets a workout. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and make the V-grooves. And I'll demonstrate one of these. And you can use the same process on all the rest. You want to make sure this is fairly secure because you are going to put a little bit of pressure on this chisel. I use a wide chisel, probably an inch, inch and a quarter. And start by placing the chisel between 2 sets of lines and holding it at about a 45-degree angle and push towards that center scribe. It's really easy in the secondary wood. When you get to this maple, you have to work it pretty hard. That's why you want to make sure that this is secure. And we'll do the same thing coming from the other side. And the reason I'm starting halfway in between the lines is because that way I don't have to push quite as hard. I'm not removing as much material. Next pass, you want to register the chisel right in that scribe mark, the outside scribe mark. And again, hold it at about a 45-degree angle. Push right straight down. I know somebody's going to ask me, why don't you just use a V-bit on the router table? And you can do that. If you want. Great. That's all there's to it. And repeat that 3 more times, and then we'll make some vertical dividers and fit them.